Hello everybody, I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version. So this time, what I'd like to talk about is how to do blowjob. So I created an article and the title is for beginners how to do blowjob. So you know I created this article because I thought it might be possible for the article to gather or collect some readers on the internet and normally thinking. So let me add some explanation. So and let me add some explanation, and this time I'm going to talk about is how should I say, so the general outline or the outline of this outline and the introduction of this article. And I'm thinking of recording sometimes well, I'm thinking of recording some episodes, and it's like the image is like I'm thinking of dividing this article into some episodes. Please imagine stuff like that. And this time is for the introduction and the outline of the article. So maybe most of you are very busy. So which is why maybe most of you are very busy. Which is why please, if you'd like to know the content I wrote, please access only to the point, and so that you can spare time, or you don't have to consume your own precious time. And so here begins my own explanation. And before actually beginning the explanation of the content of the article, let me introduce this article. So in most cases, or normally thinking, so this apps, the target field I posted this article is really red ocean. In term using the term of management. Using the term of management, red ocean is the target field I created this episode for is a red ocean, which means that field of market has a lot of competitions, or the competitions in the target market I created the article for. I created the article for. Is really harsh. Let me tell you again. So the competitions in the target market I created this article for really harsh and really, how should I say, really harsh and extreme. Anyway, there are many strong competitors, and I have to. So I have to fight against those stronger competitors, because many people can create better articles writing about how to do blowjobs. So what I created, or the article I created this time, is such a content, which means the article the article I created this time has to fight against other competitors, which are possibly stronger than the article I created this time. And the name of the article is For Beginners, How to Do Blowjob. And but I decided to create this article because I thought but the article may be able to help other people who are thinking of doing blowjob. And I created this episode for the beginners. As I told you, I created this episode for the beginners of blowjob, which means So in this part, let me introduce the target readers of this article. The target readers are women who have never experienced doing blowjob, and women who have experienced blowjob but are not good at blowjob, and men who are going to be given head or done blowjob by women who have little experience or none in blowjob. So, generally speaking, and I have created some other articles of Medium, but those articles are created for beginners, or I created those articles for beginners or for novices of adult content creation. But this time, or the article I created this time is, this time I created the article writing about how to do blowjob for novices or apprentices of blowjob. And there, no, not there. So, hashtags. Better said, this article has 4 sections, and among those 4 sections, 3 sections are numbered. And first section is an introductory one, which is not numbered. And I numbered the other 3 sections. And first section is how to do blowjob, and second is caution, and the third is finally what to know to enjoy blowjob. And I wrote what I'm going to tell you this time. So I'm going to read aloud a part or a paragraph of this article. So main section of this article is, of course, section 1, in which fundamental stuff to know is written. Before actually beginning blowjob, I recommend you checking the section. And if you have no experience in blowjob, please read all the stuff written down below. Also, the fundamental stuff written in the section 1 is necessary. What protects you is section 2, in which what to be careful of is written. In such a case, people who blow penises and men who are blown in the penises should read this article to enjoy blowjob. So, like I said, in this episode, what matters, or necessary sections to read are section 1 and section 2. Of course, I would like you to read all the content, or the entire content of that article. But actually, the most important parts are section 1 and section 2. So you may say that, among those 4 sections, what is important is only section 1, which is what you may think about. But actually, I would like you to read caution, because I wrote many cautions, and I wrote many cautions. So introducing some examples. So wait a moment, please. Cautions. And cautions have maybe 4 or 5 parts. There. I divided. I'm recording this episode on February in 2022, and on the moment, or on the moment of this recording, there are 4 parts in section 2. But when I create articles, or when I create contents, in most cases I'm thinking of maintenance ability, which means maybe in the future I may edit, or I may update this article so that this article gets stronger as time passes, which is possible. Which means I may add some writings, or I may change some part written on the article, which is what I'm thinking of doing in the future. So I have no plan. I have no plan of editing for now, but actually in the future I may edit, and I may rewrite some parts of this article. Please make sure at this point. And there are five parts in section 2, caution. Section 2 is is entitled, or section 2 is named cautions. And first one is sexually transmitted diseases. I wrote stuff about sexually transmitted diseases, and sexually transmitted diseases is abbreviated to be STDs. And the second one is considerations for your partners and other people. And section 3 is safety of sexual intercourse and responsibilities. The fourth is responsibilities, and the fifth is being or becoming sex workers. And when it comes to writing about, so in the section, or in the part, not in the section, but in the part named being or becoming sex workers, I pasted the link of an article, and the article writes about, or the article is written about that I'm sorry, I remembered the article whose link is what I pasted in the article I created this time was sex workers should start blogs or YouTube. So I created months before, or months before the episode version or the podcast version of this article. So briefly introducing the article, pasted in the link of which is pasted in the article I created this time is anyway. So if you're thinking of becoming a sex worker, you should start blogs or YouTube, which is what I wrote in the article. Not the article I created this time, but another article I created before. Anyway, so and finally, I said finally, but this is not the finally of the section in the article I created this time, but finally in this episode. So what I also want you to know that you have all the responsibilities for what you do, which means, so I wrote this. I also wrote about I also wrote stuff about responsibilities, and maybe reading aloud is the fastest. So number four, the fourth paragraph in section 2 is responsibilities for now, and in that part I wrote that make sure that you are responsible for all the actions, behaviors, and other stuff having some relations or no relation with this content and its author. If you have or incur some problems, troubles, or losses, the author or the creator of this content and the platforms publishing this content are not responsible for them. Note, admit, or recognize that the above mentioned problems, troubles, or losses are not the responsibilities of this content or the author or the creator or the platforms storing, maintaining, or displaying this content. In short, you are responsible for your own problems, troubles, and losses you got so irrespective of this episode and this article, which is what I like you to know this time. Anyway, so when it comes to the actual content of this article, I'm thinking of creating other episodes, and as I told you in the beginning of this episode, I'm thinking of dividing this article into some episodes, and in each of which I'm thinking of telling you some parts, something about how to do blowjob, or how was cautions, and finally what you have to know. So which means, anyway, in each episode, so I'm thinking of recording some different stuff with each other. Please imagine stuff like that. So this time is all. That's all. That's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you. Hello everybody. I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version. Maybe I couldn't pronounce everybody well. I mean, maybe episodes before, months before said, I feel tough when pronouncing hello everybody, because, L and R are not distinguished in my mother tongue, and hello everybody is difficult. So, better, I can pronounce better. Hello everyone. I couldn't pronounce well, but, I'm, so, anyway, this is also about how to do blowjob. So, without extra talking, or without any redundant talk, I'm thinking of starting the what I want to talk about. Anyway, so this time is section 1, how to do blowjob. I'm going to explain how to do blowjob, and before actually starting, please make sure that So in most cases, in most cases, I'm going to say you and your in this episode, but this is also written in the article, or in the written version of this episode, or the written version, or the article. The article is the authentic version of this episode, or how should I say? Yeah, the authentic or real version of this episode. So, and the real version also has the writing explaining that, you and you are used in the article indicate or mean that those you and you are women who give or who do blowjob for men, or for the male partner of those women. Please make sure this point. So, and as well as the article version, so this is the same case. This is the same as the article version, and I'm going to use you and your, indicating or meaning women who have, or who do blowjob, or who give head for the male partner of those women. Please make sure this point. So first of all is, afterwards are the same. Afterwards, coming after this section is the same case, because which means, if I say you and you are in section 2 and section 3, not only section 1, those you and you are mean women who suck, or who blow the penises. Please make sure this point. And first is definition. So blowjob is an act or deed to stimulate and excite a penis or penises by using the mouth or its parts. And I extracted the definition of online dictionary. I used an online dictionary, and I extracted the definition of blowjob from an online dictionary, and I pasted the definition of online dictionary onto the article. And the word blowjob, or the phrase blowjob, is a slang, and the activity or sexual play is formally called fellatio and oral sex. And outline is, so suppose sexual desire changes in the form of a wave. A recommendable way to stimulate is to start with slow movements of the mouth and accelerate the movements of mouths. In which manner you can gradually raise the sexual desires of men. If you'd like to wedge denials or edgings while blowing penises, or moving the mouths and their parts, you will want to repeat a series of slow movements and fast movements. So sometimes or some movements, sometimes or some rounds. It's up to you whether you give the male partners a comfortable climax, or let them reach orgasm or not. Anyway, so I'm reading aloud the applicable part, or the applicable section of the article. So if if you do not want to listen to this episode, please close this episode and quickly access to the description column of this episode, and you can access to, as always, you can access to the article corresponding with this episode. Procedure: Put the penis of male partner of sexual intercourse into your mouth. Stimulates the penis by rubbing and poking with your entire mouth or parts of the mouth. For example, lips, tongue, and tongue, and sometimes teeth. When ejaculating semen or sperm, choose and decide where to ejaculate it. Most of the men ejaculate into the mouths of their partners or the faces of their partners. Considering this, I recommend that you show your male partner the semen or sperm shot or ejected into your mouth or on your face. Even the senses of women having sperm or semen in the mouth or on the faces are arousing to men. I'm sorry for my bad reading manner, but so it's maybe it's faster for you to read, but if you can't read, for example, in some because of some situation or because of some, for example, disabilities, please understand this episode. And if you can read, I recommend you quickly access, or I recommend you accessing the article because it's faster for you than listening to what I'm telling you, what I'm speaking out. And 1.4 is where to stimulate. Shaft, glans was the head of penis, frenulum, corona, pinhole was the entrance of urethra, foreskin, scrotum, testicles, perineum. And how to approach to each part of the penis. So, I'm sorry, I'm exhausted. So, anyway, do I have to read this aloud? Maybe you can understand without reading aloud, without my reading aloud. So what should I do? Anyway, so shaft is this part. So for now 1.5 explains how to approach to each part of the penis, and shaft is. This part deals with the entire shaft of penis. If you want to know content specific to parts of penis, go ahead to the following describing each part of a shaft. When sucking and rubbing the shaft, it is fine to daub saliva as lubricant on it. After which, what to do is to shake your head back and forth to excite sexual desire of the man, during which it is effective to target and stimulate sensitive parts of the shaft. To know where the sensitive parts are and how to stimulate them, refer to the following. I'm sorry, but I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from reading aloud this article. So anyway, maybe you can understand what I wrote. So from now on, what is written is how to stimulate each part of the penis. So what is written is how to stimulate or how to lick or touch or poke each part of the penis, or for example, except for the shaft. How to stimulate scrotum and how to stimulate perineum was written. Please understand this point. And after finishing this episode, you can listen to section 2 and section 3. And maybe not maybe I can, but I think I'm going to finish those two sections soon. Please make sure this point, because I'm exhausted and I can't find any significance in reading aloud. Although I wrote that article by myself, so I'm sorry, but so please access to the description column, and in that part, or in the description column of this episode, I'm thinking I'm going to write the link leading you to the article. So please. So if you'd like to read the article, please access the description column, in which you can find out the link to the article I wrote this time. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening. See you. And I'm exhausted. I'm tired from reading this article. Hello everybody, I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version, and this time what I'd like to talk about is how to do blowjob, and what I'm going to speak out is the content of section 2 of the article I created, and the name of the article is for beginners, how to do blowjob, and without any extra talk, I'm going to start the actual content of this episode. So the content of this time is section 2. So the section 2 is named cautions, or I named section 2 as cautions. And as I said that there are five parts for now. In the episode I was speaking out the introduction was the introductory part. Anyway, so I said I told you that there are five parts in section 2, and I'm thinking of introducing each part, and I don't introduce all the content or all the contents of section 2. I introduce you part of section 2. And the first section, so first part of section 2 is sexually transmitted diseases, and make sure that some diseases are transmittable even through oral sexual intercourse. Main STDs, which stands for sexual transmitted diseases, are the following. And I wrote some names of diseases, and for example, chlamydia, genital herpes, maybe this is the correct pronunciation, and gonorrhea, and HIV or AIDS, and human papillomavirus. I don't know whether this is the correct pronunciation of HPV, but HPV is human papillomavirus, and pubic lice, and syphilis, and trichomoniasis, and bacterial vaginosis, and hepatitis, and pelvic inflammatory disease. So maybe I have maybe some of the pronunciations I have just spoken out wrong. Maybe I have spoken to wrong pronunciations, or wrong pronunciations of the names of diseases. So if you find out the mistakes of the names of the diseases, please, if possible, please contact me. And I'm thinking of, so if possible, I'm going to correct the mistakes. So if you have worries or concerns about your bodily conditions, or if you feel sick about something in your bodies or minds, consult doctors or physicians as soon as possible. So please make sure this point. And possible symptoms are, I also wrote possible symptoms. And for example, unusual discharge from the penis or vagina, or sores or warts on the genital area, and painful frequent urination, and itching and redness in the genital area, and blisters or sores in or around the mouth, and abnormal vaginal odor, and anal itching, soreness or bleeding, and abdominal pain and fever. And these diseases and symptoms are extracted from the web pages down below, and check out the following links to know the details of each sexually transmitted disease and their symptoms. So I used websites created by and maintained by governments or the government of the United States of America. So please check. So if you'd like to check out those websites I used, and so please check out the article, and please scroll down the article and go to item 2.1. So on which or in which the links of those two websites are pasted, or you can find out the web pages of those two websites. And those two websites are created and maintained by the government of the United States of America. Please make sure this point. And 2.2 is considerations for your partners and other people. So in short, so please be considerate to others, which is what this part is saying. So if you'd like to know the details of this part, please read. And 2.3 is safety of sexual intercourse. So anyway, most of you have experienced COVID-19 or coronavirus. So for example, 100 years after from now, 100 years after this present time, maybe most of you have not experienced the pandemic of coronavirus, which began in 2020. Yeah, that's correct. And I'm recording this episode in 2022. So anyway, on February in 2022, I'm creating this episode. So if you have not experienced the pandemic of coronavirus, which has lasted even now, or even in this present time, so in this case, please be careful of your hygiene situation or other points related to safety. So if you have experienced the pandemic of coronavirus or the pandemic of COVID-19, so I don't think there is anything else I can tell you, because you have already been concerned about many things about safety in terms of hygiene environment and other points of safeties. And if you'd like, so not only viral stuff, but also some sexual plays are dangerous, like sadomasochistic plays. So please be careful of this point. And if you'd like to know the details, please read the article and the responsibilities. Anyway, so I'm not responsible for your damages, problems, or losses, or troubles, or other positive and negative stuff after you got some information or some pieces of information related to this episode and the article. Please make sure this point. All the stuff is your responsibility, whether it's related to my content or myself or not, or platform itself or not. So being or becoming sex workers, which is number 2.5. Yeah, so when it comes to think of being or becoming sex workers, so I have created another content different from this article I wrote this time. So the title of the content is "Sex Workers Should Start Blogs or YouTube." So if you are thinking of becoming sex workers or being sex workers, so please, I recommend you reading that article. And if you'd like to read that article, so please access to the article I created this time. And you can access to the articles through through the link displayed or written on the description column of this episode. This is a collection of pronunciations, and first of all, I called female reproductive organ vagina, but correct pronunciation is vagina. So please make sure this point. And another stuff is the name of a virus, or the name not virus, the name of a disease. And of course, in this episode, so I said I introduced some sexually transmitted diseases, and the name the disease is syphilis. So syphilis is syphilis. Syphilis is the correct pronunciation, and the spelling is. Wait a moment, please. The spelling is Syphilis. Please make sure this point. And human papilloma virus is human papilloma virus. This is correct pronunciation. Papilloma is papilloma, and herpes is herpes. The spelling is GENITALHERPES. So genital herpes is the correct pronunciation. So I summarized section 2. So that's it. Yeah, that's the end. This is all. And if you'd like to read all the stuff written in section 2, please read by yourself. Please read them by yourself. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.
Hello everybody, I'm Richard Gon of Love to Live podcast version. So this time, what I'd like to talk about is for beginners how to do blowjob. So I have created some episodes, or how should I say? Yeah. Total number of the episodes recorded for this article is 4. I created 4 episodes for explaining the content written in the article I recently created, and the title of the article is For Beginners How to Do Blowjob. And this is I'm thinking of this episode as a final episode recorded for the article. And of course, not of course. So I created episodes, and there are 4 sections, and introduction or introductory section, and section 1, section 2, and section 3. And the section I'm going to record is section 3 in this episode. And the section 3 is titled Finally, what to know to enjoy blowjob. This is a title, which is a title of section 3, and I'm thinking of, and I'm going to read aloud what is written in the section. So please listen to this one at first. So people who do blowjob or who suck penises say that it is good and funny to watch the expressions or countenances on the faces of their male partners. Some men are delighted by the high techniques of blowjob done by their female partners. Other men suffer from the high tantalizing techniques of blowjob, including denials and edging done by their female partners, mistresses, or dominatrixes. However, when it comes to your doing blowjob, what is invaluable is to do blowjob at the speed and pace you want. Also, it is important to give your male partners comfort of blowjob. It is fine to console or arouse them after you acquire high skills of techniques of oral sex. As is written in the beginning of this article, if you are beginners or novices of blowjob, I think it is smart to concentrate on learning how to let men feel comfortable with your blowjob, not on actually giving them comfort. If you can acquire high levels of blowjob techniques by reading this article and using what is written on this, that is one of the greatest pleasures for me. And that's it. Thank you very much for your reading, which is a finishing term for this article. And let me tell you how to access to the article. And there is a description column corresponding to this episode, and I'm going to write the link or URL in the description column, and through which you can access that article. And I will tell you again. So So this episode has the description column, and in which I'm going to paste or write a link leading to the article. So please click or access that link in the description column. And if you once you access the description column, I'm thinking of displaying elaborate enough for you to understand where to access. So please make sure this point. And what else should I say? So finally, what should I say? Yeah. So afterwards, what I'm thinking of this article. So let me talk about that stuff. So maybe I told you in the beginning, or how should I say, in the beginning part of the in the beginning, not in this episode, but I told you in the in the in the in the episode talking about the introductory stuff, or the general content of this article. But you know, I don't like of I don't like this kind of article, because you know there are many competitors. So this kind of article means, you know, you know, how to do blowjob is really a standard one for explaining how to do blowjob to the viewers or to the users of the internet. But you know, such a field or such fields are really, you know, really tough for competitors to compete, because you know there are such fields have many competitors, and competitions are really harsh and severe, which is why in most cases, or at least when I was creating my own contents in Japanese language, I haven't created such major contents or major articles major markets where competitions are really harsh, and the competitors are really strong or smart. So so in most cases, or in almost all cases, I have avoided such competitions or competitions and strong competitors, which had been my manner I used, which had been my manner I used in this country, or in when I was using Japanese language for content creation. But you know, this time I created this article. So although there are many competitors, I have to compete each other. I have to compete, or I have to emulate, if possible. But actually, why I created this episode is because, and maybe if you are frequent listeners, or if you are frequent listeners of this podcast, but you may understand that, you know, so the frequency of the of posting of episodes, of the frequency of posts is really, you know, is really high. I don't know whether how to explain the frequency of posts of my podcast, because you know I post episodes. I post an episode every day. I post a day, which is what I'm doing, and maybe almost I post I post episodes almost every day. So, but you know, so which is why, you know, what I'm trying to do is what I'm trying to do is to know the effect, or the influence podcast give podcast can give the access to online article. So you know, anyway, many people listen to podcasts, or many people listen to episodes of podcast, but you know, the number of the listeners are not so the number of the listeners is not so large as the users or the viewers of videos such as YouTube. Considering which, you know, and consider that, you know, I came to want to know that how influential podcast is to my, and I'm thinking of checking the access coming from podcast to leading to the online articles I have created. So I'm thinking of stuff like that. I don't know whether you could understand what I'm telling you. So, but I'm thinking of finishing my own explanation in this part. So that's all. So please enjoy my article. So thank you very much for your listening. See you.